Hey everybody, what's up? I have a little time on my hands, so I thought I'd spend a few minutes to talk about Jessica Jones. As you probably noticed, the new second season of Jessica Jones is dropped on Netflix, and I didn't really have time to watch it, so I only watched the first episode. So I thought I'd do a kind of a review of the first episode, and we'll see how it goes. I don't know if I can review every single episode individually, but I guess I'll just have to start with the first one and see where it goes. Now, since I am kind of recording this in between work shifts, and it's the middle of the night right now, I don't want to spend too much time on it, and I don't want to take too much time away from between when I record and between when I upload, so I'm just not going to do any editing whatsoever. I'm not going to put any screenshots on the screen or anything. I'm just going to talk about what I saw for a few minutes. Now, you have to forgive me because I watched the episode a few hours ago on my lunch break, and I'm just not doing the review on my in my little makeshift studio at my house. So I may not remember a few things, but I'll just talk about what the things I do remember, and excuse me, and just give an overall thought on the episode. Overall, I liked this episode. It took me back to this world of Jessica Jones that was created in the first season. Jessica herself, as a character, did not skip the beat since the first season, or since the Defenders, and I like that. I like this little progression of this character where she doesn't really change who she is dramatically, but she experiences stuff and she learns new things about herself and about the people around her. I loved the fact that Malcolm was back. Malcolm was one of my favorite characters from last season, and I also loved the fact that Trish came back. I loved Trish in season 1, and I loved how they used her in the Defenders, which was pretty cool. Now, obviously, you see Jessica struggling with the whole murdering Kilgrave part from last season, as well as the whole becoming a vigilante superhero, which she also did in the last season and in the Defenders with the other little band of misfits. And she doesn't like that, and that's a part of her character. That's who she is from the both the comics and from the TV show. She does not see herself as a superhero. She doesn't want to be a superhero. She tried it, and it's not as you know, it's not as great as people make it out to be, which is, I'm assuming, is totally true. Obviously, I have never tried to do anything like that, but I'm guessing that it's not a very rewarding job, if you catch my meaning. Obviously, Trish is a good friend, and she believes that there's something else that's troubling her, something that's haunting her from the past, and obviously we discover that she was actually had this period of 20 days where nobody knew where she was. She was not registered in any hospital whatsoever, no medical records, no nothing, and she wants to know, or rather, she wants Jessica to find out what happened to her. One thing I will say, I'm interested by this. Why I did that? Sorry. I'm interested by this new character, Price Chang. You know, the Asian guy with the tattoos all over his body. I have several theories about this guy. I'm not ready to share any of them just yet, but I think this guy's going to be the main villain of this show. Obviously, we get to see that Will Simpson is still around, and he's chasing after Trish, which is natural because of everything he did in the previous season. I believe this show is going to have two main villains. One that's going to go after Jessica, and the other one is Simpson, who's going to go after Trish. And eventually, I believe that Trish will get into her Hellcat persona from the comics and become a superhero vigilante herself. But that's just my little tinfoil hat prediction. What else? Oh, I love the fact that they included the Wizard in this episode. I loved that because they had this little montage of different, clients coming and going, and everybody's got his own different story. And you just know that one of them's gonna stick, right? Obviously, I personally thought that the African American woman who lost her son, that was gonna be the one that was gonna stick, and that was gonna be the one that the main plot of the show was gonna focus on. But I guess they pulled a surprise one on me, and it turns out that the Wizard is actually real. Now, if you're not familiar with the Wizard, he's actually a real comic book character, which is shocking. He's actually a Golden Age Marvel character. It was one of the earliest superheroes in Marvel's history. Came out, I believe, a year or two after Captain America, if I'm not mistaken. And he was essentially Marvel's answer to the Flash. Not Barry Allen's Flash, but rather the Golden Age Flash, Jay Garrick. Now, they call him the Wizard for a couple of reasons. One of which being that it was the 40s and nobody really gave a damn what to call characters. So they gave him really cheesy names like, Superman, Batman, or Captain America, stuff like that. They didn't really think these names all the way through, so that's kind of how they got to the name The Wizard. They call him The Wizard because that's the sound he makes when he's whizzing by. So I thought it was kind of cool, and honestly it's a character I never ever, in a billion years, believed that we get to see in a live action TV show, or anything basically, and it was a nice surprise seeing him there. He was actually featured in an episode of Spider-Man the Animated Series, if you dig deep enough. But I spent enough time talking about the Wizard. What else? Oh, Jerian Hogarth is back. Carrie Ann Moss, obviously dealing with some of the ramifications of season 1 with her former assistant / lover. Very complicated story there, but it's good. It's nice to see that what is getting what she deserves. Obviously, we get references and hints to the connection that she has with Danny Rand in this episode. I'm not really sure that any of the other Defenders is going to show up at any point. Definitely not Danny Rand. I don't see any reason why he should be there. We might see Luke Cage show up, because Luke Cage and Jessica Jones are very tied up together, both in the show and in the comics. Obviously, he appeared very prominently in season 1, and which was actually sort of a prequel to his own standalone series. And if you've read the Alias comics, you know that Jessica and Luke have a baby together. So that's that. Now, speaking of the other Defenders, it was funny because when Jessica was sent to court, I thought to myself for a minute there, well, why doesn't she just get Matt Murdock to represent her. Oh, right, I forget. Matt Murdock is off the grid and presumably dead. So, I guess that's why he's not showing up. But maybe Foggy. But then again, Foggy is now working for Jerry Hogarth's firm. So, there's that. And obviously there's the ending of it, which is the Jessica investigating the IGH facility, which brings back long forgotten memories, some that she buried so deep she didn't even want to consider. But we also see some glimpse of what I believe is probably going to be the main villain of this new season. The one that's going to go after Jessica, while Trish is too busy fighting Will Simpson, if that's really his name, if he's going to change his name to Nuke, just like in the comics. Because, well, technically in the comics he doesn't even have a name, he's just called Simpson. They called him Will Simpson because that's the name of the actor, Will Travel. But that's my thoughts on this episode. Wow, I've already gone way too long, way longer than I thought I would. I just thought I was gonna sit here for 6-7 minutes, but I've gone well over 10. So sorry for dragging on a little bit too much. If I'll do any more of these, I'll try to make them shorter for you guys. But that's all I have to say right now. So goodbye, everybody. Oh, and like, share, subscribe, and leave a comment down below. Goodbye, everybody.